Crash and burn.
Hey everybody, so tonight I would like to discuss the 2013 film Jug Face. What a weird movie, okay? This movie is such a perfect cross-section, intersection of gross and compelling. And the story is easy, but fucking weird. So basically what it is it follows this group of a backwoods community of people who worship something that's known as the pit. It's a giant sinkhole looking thing in the middle of their forest where they live, and it's got a bunch of water in it, and it just looks like nothing. But at some point throughout this community's history, they discovered that this pit requires sacrifices, but by giving it sacrifices, human sacrifices, it will also provide a sense of stability for their community. Like if somebody's ill, somebody's sick or whatever, you toss them in the pit, get them all in the water, and it heals them up. And this is how they've been doing it, I'm guessing, for generations at this point. So this movie is basically about the character Ada and Dewey, I suppose, too. Ada, she's just a chick in this community, and she's, of course, sleeping with her brother because, naturally, like I said, the perfect cross-section of like, ugh, and intriguing. And so she's banging her brother, and she ends up getting pregnant. And so the way this community works is whoever is going to be sacrificed, they go into the kiln, or Dewey goes into the kiln, and the kiln will make a jug. And if it happens to have your face on it, you are who the pit is calling to be sacrificed. So Ada kind of sneaks in, she's at the kiln or whatever, and she pulls out the jug, and her face is on it. And she's worried because she's pregnant with her brother's kid, so she hides the jug, and this causes the community to just fall into a complete state of chaos, because inevitably what happens is I think it's her brother who ends up sick. I think it was her brother. And so they're like, yo, get in the pit. The pit will cure what's ailing you. But because Ada hasn't been sacrificed, the pit's pissed off, and it kills him, if memory serves. At least I think it does. Jesus Christ, I just watched this movie like 2 days ago, and I can't remember. It's because I'm old. My mind, it's going. But yeah, so the pit is pissed off, and all the while Ada is suffering these hallucinations from the one who got away. And you know she's got to be sacrificed. And I mean, there's one point where her mom, like, she's in the bathroom, and she's like, let me check, and she's like, gotta like shove a couple fingers up her to make sure that... Actually, I can't remember now why her mom was doing that, but her mom does, and it's like so obscene that like this sort of, well, like sex abuse, I suppose it could be framed as, but it's not so much that her mom is getting any sort of pleasure out of it, but nevertheless, like her mom's like, open up or I'll burn you, because she's smoking a cigarette, and Ada's like, I don't want to, and she's like on her inner thigh too, she like fucking works the heater in. So Ada spreads her legs, and then she's like, oh my God, you little fucking slut. I think she figures out she's been very active sexually speaking, and that's a problem. So, I mean, this movie shouldn't work because it's a little too far out in left field. And technically, I think this movie should be dumb, but this movie isn't dumb because of the performances of everybody. I believe this community is real. I believe Ada's terror, and I feel bad for Dewey because he's catching all the shit because he lost the Jug Face, because they knew a Jug Face was going to happen. A jug with somebody's face on it to sacrifice. They knew it was coming, and he can't find it. It's gone, and that's because Ada hid it. So they're coming down pretty hard on Dewey, and looks like they're gonna take him out when Ada just fesses up, and she's like, look, I hid it, okay? And she's like, I was scared. She'd already miscarried by this point. So she went, grabs the Jug Face, and then her mom sacrifices her. She puts her over a stump a tree stump that's next to the pit, and she slits her throat and lets her bleed into it. And the movie concludes with an incredibly sad-looking Dewey lighting the 3 candles around Ada's Jug Face, and then the camera pulls back with a shot of a disheveled Dewey just sitting there, sort of staring down. And that's how the movie ends. Like I said, I mean, it's so simple, but this movie is so effective because of the performances. The story is so fucking thoroughly outlandish that had the performances and the photography not been so tight and so on point, I don't think I would have got through this. This almost like had the performances and, like I said, the photography not been so on point, this would have been like some kind of weirdo student film. But it's so much more than that because of the acting and the direction and the assured direction. And that's where I'm leaving it. So thank you so much for hanging out with me for almost 6 minutes while I discussed the 2013 film Jug Face. Like always, if you like this review, don't forget to do something nice for somebody. But most importantly, please don't forget that the world is actually a better place because you're in it. I'm getting out of here because I'm getting really hot. I thought wearing a t-shirt would solve that problem, but I am starting to cook because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights going. So, yeah. Have a good night.